Welcome back to I Bought Toys Today, the show where two old friends indulge in the best part of the toy collecting hobby, showing each other what we got. Once again, I'm John.
I'm Cohan.
And Cohan, I think we messed up.
We may have messed up.
As we're recording this, it is Valentine's weekend, and this is the first show we're recording this year about toys we bought this year.
Yeah, and those piles have already gotten big.
Yeah, we're a month and a half in already, and we haven't made a show. So that's like toy show season has started. Like we haven't recorded a show since like the post holiday sales and everything. So a lot's happened. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm up to my neck in stuff. Um, so we've got a lot of ground to cover today.
Yeah, we do. And also, interesting fact that we both kind of started a new collection.
Oh, did we?
We may have.
Oh, well, let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
Toy show season has started. I don't know why, because the weather is still miserable. And I love going to shows when it's 30 degrees and like raining outside. Um, but it still doesn't stop us.
Nope.
I went to one show so far. Did you only go to one show so far?
Yeah, only one so far.
Okay. But we went to different shows.
This is true.
Um, the beginning of this month, I went to the Mansfield Toy Show.
And just last weekend, I went to Toyhio.
Excellent. I know I have a couple other shows coming up, but I think they're both in March.
Yeah, in
So I
fact,
think
one we're going to be at together.
Yeah. Um, so I went to the Mansfield show. I got a good sized haul. Do you want to start us off, or do you want me to jump right in?
Go ahead and jump in.
Okay. Went to the Mansfield Toy Show, which is technically calling itself the new Mansfield Toy Show. I didn't go to the old one, so I can't tell you what the difference is. But I was a little skeptical going to this one just because it had not been one that I had previously attended. But it's not too far away, so it was worth the risk.
Yeah,
And
and I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, and actually, I went to that last year. And that's where I found that Aliens Vasquez figure that came with the Alien, um, the Kenner version.
Yeah, so I had a decent recommendation going in, and I'm happy to say I came away with a good bit of stuff. All right, well then let's jump right in, um, and start us out with a real doozy, Cohan. Um, I found a figure that is very important to me in my sort of collecting hobby. One that I've never had loose. So when I found one at a good price, I just had to jump on it so that I could actually have it up on my shelf. Um, and I think you're really going to like this too. So I got the Toy Biz X Force Cruel. And I'll just wait for a moment, let the applause die down.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know why I like this guy so much. Like the colors are a bit much. He's so purple and orange. His articulation is, I think he's just 5 points. Yeah. Like no knees, no elbows on this guy. But he's one of the reasons that I got back into toy collecting with you. And I don't know why. Because he is not what I would call a good villain. He's not in a lot of X Force comics. I mean, he is kind of unique looking. Um, but there was just something of him being a figure that I always saw growing up. I think a friend of mine had him, but I never did. and he just stands out to me for some reason. So I was really excited to just get a loose one that I can put on my shelf because I've got a carded one. Um, but as dumb as it sounds, it's nice to have one to hold. And he's
Yeah.
mostly complete. I think he's supposed to have one more skull to go on his hair braid. Um, I'm not going to nitpick. It's just cool to have a cruel. Starting us off with a bang, huh?
All right.
What do you got? Can you beat
Well,
that?
yeah, I can.
Okay.
So at Toyhio, one of the I lied. There was another one. One of the actually the very first figure I scooped up, I was looking for anyway, and it's funny because he's been a peg warmer for a while, and I was all of a sudden I can't seem to find him. So when I walked by this one booth, they had him retro carded. The card was is not in the best of shape, and I was like, I'm gonna open him up anyway. So I got him on the cheap. So we start with Destro, classified Destro. This shiny head and his gun and a great little laptop. You open it up and inside it's half of it's cash, half of it's computer. So he before I moved him off the table, he joined the battle and he was going toe to toe with Flint. So yeah, so Destro joins the classified battle on my new dining room table. So we start with Destro. Also staying within the classified realm. Not going to unbox him. Was really happy I saw him. He was an Amazon exclusive. I hadn't ordered him off Amazon. He is one of my favorites. He is going to stay in box though, because I have another one of him that I just recently opened. But it's Roadblock. It's Roadblock in his classic look: the brown pants, the camo shirt. Not exactly Ma Deuce, but it's a big old Gatling gun,
It's a big
and
man.
but it's a great look. He's a great looking figure. He's classic Roadblock, and was really happy to scoop him up. So yeah, add him to the. He's gonna go to the wall. He won't join the battle, but he's gonna go to the wall. So
I've always liked Roadblock.
yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my first two.
Well, I'm going to join you there, because I got some classifieds too. Um, one of which, new in box, was very happy to find one of them at this show, because I've not been able to find any, like at any local store, and I finally got my Iron Grenadier bat.
Excellent.
Um, I don't know why I like. I just I think he looks more like the bat I had in my head than just the original basic bat. Like there's just something about the black, the red, and the gold.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks good. Um, Going with his clampy hand, um, for his right arm here, because I think this is just the one that he used most on my bat growing up. I wish he had more of a gun than just the pistol, but at least it looks cool with the gold and black. Um, and I really like the traditional bat head. I don't even think I have the Iron Grenadier one laying around, within grabbing distance, but just the red of it looks really good, and it's just a good looking bat. Um, and I really like that they're doing more Iron Grenadier stuff. I'm not really interested in the Iron Grenadier, but I like, got this guy, got is it heavy metal over there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hopefully they put out an Iron Grenadier Destro, because that would be a good one to add. But that is the first classified that I picked up at the Mansfield show. And second, I got an actual GI Joe, which is very rare.
Very
It's
rare.
not a Cobra. Got the classified GI Joe that probably I wanted more than any others, and picked up a lowlight.
Excellent. Yeah.
He's complete. He was loose, so I got him for a very good price. And I just love his look. I don't know why I like it so much, because it's just gray. Like it's just gray, a little red, maybe a little black.
He looks like his original 3 3/4 figure.
Yeah, like so much like it. which
Mm-hmm.
they a lot of times they do a good job of, but sometimes they make them wildly different as well. But he is also just a vintage figure that translates so well
Yeah.
into this. Because a lot of my problems with the classified GI Joes is they just look like army dude. But there's something about him. They still just looks unique. He doesn't just look like a dude who's in the military. Um, and I just like he looks like a stealthy looking sniper, and I dig that. Um, so I don't know what I'm going to do with him on the shelf because it's not like there's a lot of Joes for him to hang out with. But real happy to get a low light finally.
I remember. Yeah, it's funny because I forgot you bought him, but then when you held him up, I remembered you text me about whether or not to get him, and I was like, "Well, if you get him, you're at least guaranteed to know you got him, rather than just cardboard slats in a box."
Yeah,
Check out episode 2 or 3 for that.
classic. What else you got?
Well, this takes us into what I mentioned at the top of the show. I started a
Okay.
brand new collection,
Getting
and I
the
want
first figures in this line never before seen on the show.
first figures never before seen in this show.
Okay.
Um, I walked by this table. This gentleman was selling these figures, and I asked how much, and I liked the price he quoted me. And I've been looking to start this line. I haven't found a good set to start, but I ended up really liking these figures. They're not, all-star grades, but I like the look. I like the sculpts. But welcome to the collection, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We start with Buffy herself. Try to get that glare off there so you can see her. But there's Buff, her crossbow, her knife, her little stand. There's Buff. And Buffy wasn't the only one there. Oh, no. No. What's Buffy? Who does Buffy need by her side? Teaching her, being her watcher? It's Giles. He comes with, he's a heavy one, too. He comes with a lot. A book, a sword, his satchel, another book, some stakes. Yeah, he's a good looking Giles. A good looking Giles. Giles on the back there. But wait, there's more. So the first 3 I scooped up were Buffy, Giles, and Buffy's best friend Willow. You need Willow by her side. Um, she's got an English textbook, her computer. Looks like a fanny pack. And her book of magic. But so there's Willow, Buffy, Willow, and Giles. And so I wandered away and walked around the convention some more. Found some things I was hemming and hawing, kind of splitting the difference. Some I liked, but maybe weren't going to pay that much for. I kept saying, well, maybe if I don't find anything else, I'll go back and get that figure for whatever dollar amount it was. And I walked by the Buffy table again, and I said, I really want another one of these. I think. And the guy was nice enough to me. He said, "Well, you've bought enough already." He's like, "I'm going to knock $5 off the cost for each of them." I said, "Okay." So I scooped up 2 more, and that would be Angel. Never was a big fan of Angel on the show, but what the heck? I mean, if you're gonna go, you go. So there's Angel. Some of these cards are not in the best condition, but again, they're 2009, I believe. I want to say that's what they are. I think they're 09. Anyway, and then you get Oz, played by the great Seth Green.
I was going to say, is that Seth Green? Very good.
That is. Yeah, that's Seth Green. Oz was it was in a band. He joined Buffy, and at one time was dating Willow on the show. And then we find the secret about Oz. Sorry, I gotta make some room. And this card's in really bad condition. And that Oz was a werewolf.
Oh my gosh.
Werewolf. This card's really beat up. But it's funny because as I walked around the show once more, still found nothing else. I said to the guy, I went back to the table. He had 2 left, and I said, I might as well just buy the last 2. So this is one I had left behind because of the card. And then I got the Master, who is the big bad for the first few seasons. So he's the big bad.
Good.
And the one that the one that I bought that actually is when he said, "Hey, I'll knock some money off you. I'll knock it down for you." Was this Toy Fair exclusive Buffy? She comes in her little, I think, little prom dress, her leather jacket. I'm sure there's a steak in there, but she was exclusive. That's the price tag, the original price tag that it was on.
Nice.
So I scooped up Buffy. Then I came home. It was the next day. I jumped online and I started looking to see. No. Hold on. I just wanted to see.
Oh, okay.
Who was in the collection, and there were a lot more. And I was
really?
like, yeah, there were a lot more than I expected. But there's Cordelia, and there's variants of all of these. Like you got Willow, and then you got Willow when she goes veiny and evil. You've got several different Buffys. You've got Cordelia in 2 different outfits. You've got Evil Angel, or Vampire Mode Angel. But I gotta get a Spike. He was my favorite character on that show. But you got Spike, and you got Vampire Mode Spike. There's a bunch. So it gives me something new to kind of hunt for, and I'm afraid though that I've never seen them out before. So did I just stumble upon an oops, and now it may be eBay and that kind of thing, or will I be lucky enough to find them at different toy shows? So we'll see.
I couldn't, just by looking at them, I couldn't get a good grip as to who made those.
Yeah, it's more Action Collectibles, and I actually went on their website and looked them up. Yeah.
I can't say I've ever heard of them.
There's Xander, and there's just a bunch. So I will be looking for those.
It's a good one to keep your eye out for.
Yeah, so that's a fun little hunt, and again, really inexpensive. I mean, under $20 a figure. So, and then like I said, he even knocked more money off that when I went back again, and that's what like I said, I saw this really nice Psylocke figure for $40, and I was like, that's a really nice figure, but I'm going, I can get 2 more Buffy guys for half that. So I only got 2 more Buffy guys.
Can I tell you? Never watched the show.
Yeah, it's funny. I never did either till I got married. And then my wife and my stepdaughter were huge fans of it. And then our friend of ours, Josh, loves the show as well. And it really got me into it. And I watch it more now because it's on a channel up here. Unfortunately, it's also on during the night, but it doesn't come on till like 1 a.m. But there's always Netflix.
The only episode I ever saw was I was in a college class that used the musical episode as an example of something.
It's a great episode.
But I don't know if I don't know enough about the show to know if that's a great representation of it.
It's such a fun episode.
The musical episode. I don't know
it's such a fun episode.
It was perfectly good episode, but I don't know if
it really
got what Buffy was about from that episode.
Well, it's funny because it really is a huge turning point after that in the show where things happen. It goes wild. Yeah, I love that episode though.
Well, I actually have somewhat of a similar story. I was at the Mansfield Toy Show.
The floor is yours.
Was going down the aisle and saw that someone had a carded figure from an obscure old 90s toy line. All of these are my favorite things. But it was at a price that I wasn't like real thrilled about. So went to the next table as I'm just making my way down. I've been at the show all of 5 minutes at this point. So I'm still just walking around seeing what's there. Then at this next table down, they have that same figure carded for just about half the price of that previous table. So eventually, I did wander around a bit, check the place out, but I did come back and I got that figure. That figure, of course, was Friar Tuck, um, from the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves movie toy line from Kenner. Um, and I was also happy because they didn't just have Friar Tuck. They also had Will Scarlet,
Yeah.
which was just my favorite character from the movie. Don't ask why. They also had Little John,
My favorite character.
who's actually a pretty good character, pretty good looking figure. Also had the sheriff, which was one of the figures that was really, I know, right?
Ah.
Just so good. And they also had arguably the most important figure in the line, the Dark Warrior.
Yes. He was fierce and
Yeah,
dark.
everyone remembers the Dark Warrior from the hit 90s movie Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. So, like, I couldn't bring myself to just get one or two. They were also at like a really good price. And it's not a huge line. I'm not going to worry about getting the vehicles or anything. The only figures I don't have are Robin himself and Azim, both which I will be on the lookout for. But I gotta think won't be too terribly hard to find compared to like some of these what I would consider more obscure characters, like the Dark Warrior. Um, but I'd been thinking about this line for a little while. I did have this Robin Hood growing up, which is probably why. Didn't have any of the other ones. And this is sort of a notorious line for how bad it is. It's Kenner, and there's a lot of reused Star Wars pieces in here. Like, I mean, the Robin's Village is just the Ewok playset.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
For example. And there are plenty of other shows that are just like, oh, these are the legs from this guy, like these are the arms for the Gamoran guards or whatever. So it's as if Kenner had like a week to put these together, and it was just like, okay, what do we have laying around in the bins? Which is how we get things like the Dark Warrior. Like, I love Alan Rickman, but that figure looks nothing like the character except that it is in black clothes.
You know what's funny? I remember my sister and I were visiting my dad in North Carolina, and we went to the theater and saw that movie, and I got stoked when I saw Friar Tuck, because the only thing I remember Friar Tuck or had seen Friar Tuck in, because that's Mike McShane. You know what I saw him in first?
What was that?
The British version of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Whose Line Is It Anyway? He used to be a guest on that all the time.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Tony Slattery. Little John, weirdly enough, might be the best figure out of this group, just like likeness wise. Like, it's not bad. I don't know why they did Friar Tuck so dirty, because I don't know what Star Wars body they used, but
Can you
like,
get him in the frame? There we go.
yeah, like he's child sized compared to all the other figures. So I don't know what Ewok body they used on him.
Well, the Gamorrean guard was short.
That's what I'm thinking he might be. Dog kicked the door open. But I think the highlight of him is either Will Scarlet or the sheriff. I was a big fan of this character in the movie. He did almost nothing in the film itself, but always just a fan of Will Scarlet. So I'm going to keep my eye out for the rest of these. I really liked the Robin Hood figure growing up. These might be slapdash, but like, he was the first figure I had that would like actually shoot arrows out of a bow, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And I'd love an Azim figure, just because I really wish they made like a figure for the witch, because she was a really scary character,
Yeah.
um, for like what was a family movie. But of course, they did not make any women in this line because they
The
never do.
90s.
Yeah, because 90s. Um, so that was my haul from the actual show. But from there, I figured I was in Mansfield. I might as well go around and check the place out. Um, Mansfield has an Operation Fandom, which has a couple locations, two or three around the state. But they did something that I thought was brilliant. Because I was going to go check them out anyway, because I was already up there, and they're like 5 minutes away from the show. But they had flyers on the table as you go out that were like, "Bring this in, get 10% off today," which was fantastic because all these people are coming in to look at toys anyway. Give them an extra reason to come to your toy store that day.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Um, and they were a very cool shop. Um, I don't want to just call them a toy store because they had like toys and collectibles. I sent you pictures of the flag that they had on display, but then they had all like the other half of the store is music and video games. So they had some cool stuff there. Firstly, I got a new Cyclops, um, because I have this Cyclops carded, but just like the Cruel, I've never had a loose one. So I decided to pick one up just so I can add him to my shelf. Um, and it took a little work, but I was happy to say, oh, let's see if I can get it to do it. Um, eh, Took some cleaning, and I don't know if it's going to show up in the light, but his optic blast does still work, even with the 30-year-old batteries in there that I had to take out and clean off, but they did work. Um, I also got a carded Toy Biz figure from them. Finally got one, checking off my list of Toy Biz Caliban,
Oh, okay.
and it's real tempting to take him out of the package just because like look how beefy he is, and he's got a cool hooded cape. Like he would look so good on the shelf, and it kind of hurts to keep him in the package, but I'm gonna do my best. I
I'm
really
sure you
like
can find another
Calibans.
one.
So I was carrying those two guys around, and I was about to check out. But then I saw the one section that I hadn't gone to yet, and I realized that was their clearance section. I was like, well, I gotta go check out the clearance section. Um, and I'm so happy I did because I saw the most amazing thing as I walked in and swept the shelves. Um, and I saw the art to one of my most favorite video games of all time. They had a Bionic Commando lunchbox.
Yeah.
Like just sitting there looking at me like this. Like look at like that's the cover art from the game.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really look like the character you actually play, but
Mm-mm.
that's Nintendo. I stinking love Bionic Commando. I think in one of our first episodes, I had a little Bionic Commando figure from the Xbox game, which is the only other piece of Bionic Commando stuff I've ever seen in the wild. So just to have anything with the, the game art on there is great. Like the back is a play off of the communication screen from in
That's
game.
cool.
The side is basically the first level. I don't think there's a thermos in there. It's still in the plastic wrap. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't. I don't. I don't know where I'm gonna put this yet. Um, but I like. I texted you. I was over the moon with this.
Yeah, you
Like
were.
this is. It's gonna be hard to find something cooler than this for the rest of the year. Because I can't tell you how much I liked Bionic Commando as a kid. Like it's still the reason I like anything with like a grappling hook.
What year did
Just
that
being
come
able to
out?
swing around is great. What Bionic Commando?
No, the lunchbox.
Um, made in Bex's 2009.
Yeah, I had one of my buddies growing up. He was a huge Binding Commando fan. I was never really good at the game, but I also remember playing it at the arcade.
Mm, nice. Yeah, I don't know if I ever actually beat it. I played the heck out of it, especially that first level, because it was just so much fun to just swing around, like bounce off the enemy's head to keep going, like get a huge swing and just launch yourself into the air, and at the last minute, like shoot your grappling hook out and save yourself from falling into a pit. Um, like it was like a stepping stone to what I still enjoy in games these days, with just like that freedom of movement and exploration. Um, like I never find Bionic Commando stuff. It's a property that has fallen out of favor for some reason. Um, man, I was ecstatic. Like I told the dude at the desk, I was like, this is great. Like this makes my whole day. Like this is the coolest thing I've seen in forever. And he was like, nice. So hugely successful trip to Mansfield for that alone. But I still wasn't done
Oh,
because by this point it was about noon, and Toy Hunters was open. Toy Hunters is a store in Mansfield
it's
that's
a
been
great
featured
shop.
on the show a couple of times.
Hmm.
Um, it's real big. It's got a great selection. And while I was up there, I figured why not stop in? And I got something cool. I got an X-Men pocket comic playset. Um, the Wolverine and Omega Red one, obviously. The little X-Men version of like Mighty Max's, basically.
Yeah,
I had this one, Wolverine and Sabretooth one, and this one as a kid. That is Cyclops and Magneto. Um, I think I still have the figures, the these little guys, very small. I think I still have those, but I don't think I have the actual play sets anymore.
hmm.
Um, and I like how they line them up as if connecting them like does something, or like oh, you connect them and the art lines up or something. It absolutely does not. Um, but these are things that I've seen a couple of times at shows, and I was like, A, I like things with little guys. B, I collect a lot of X-Men stuff. Um, so the time was just right to run into one of these that I'd never had before, and pick one up. And I'm probably going to be on the lookout for the other ones. There was a Pixel Dan video recently, where he found a bunch of these at a store, and then shortly thereafter realized that there was a second set of these. Like they came out with a whole other set of four,
Hmm.
which has some cool stuff. Like I think there's a Juggernaut one. I think there's a Mr. Sinister one, but they are very hard to find because
They
no one
probably didn't
ever
make a whole lot.
knew they existed. Um, but I also had to get this to keep the tradition alive of picking up Omega Red figures. So
It's
the
been a while since
smallest
you got
one
one.
so far. Yeah, it's every so often, but when I get the opportunity. So that was all one day's worth of hunting up in Mansfield. Um, so
Yeah,
I mean,
mine
I
was
was
out.
I was I was skeptical of going up to the show to begin with, um, but I'd say I was a real winner.
Yeah. So you
If
got a
nothing
nice little
else,
haul from Mansfield, and I got a nice little haul from Girard, Ohio.
Google it. It's a real city.
It is.
Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. I'm back to this. There was one other thing I got at Toy Hunters. I almost forgot.
Uh oh.
It was this shirt.
Oh yeah.
Um, just fantastic Greg Capullo art on a Cable T-shirt. I've never had a Cable T-shirt before. Had a Cyclops T-shirt. have some
Ah,
X-Men
Vic,
t-shirts.
yeah.
Never had a Cable t-shirt.
Well, victory is yours.
So I picked that up. So all in all, a good day of buying toys.
Yeah, good opening to the toy season.
I know it really was a pretty promising start, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. You know what's funny now too? I never thought of before until I think you said it that it's toy season. I'm like, it really is a season, isn't it? I mean, yeah, their shows go throughout the year, but it seems to hit particularly, I think, hard at the beginning of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe over the summer. It kind of goes in maybe in threes. It's kind of like I don't know. Maybe I'm
Because
just
I know
babbling.
there's several in February and March, but they're all shows that also have like they do it again in like September ish
Yeah.
time. Um, so that yeah, they come in seasons about 6 months apart, and we're just getting started. But I think that's a solid start to toy season. We'll be back
Excellent. Yeah.
pretty soon because we're going to more in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we are.
I've got one that is down the street in like 2 weeks, so gonna go with that.
I've got one that's way down the street in about a month.
Yep, almost exactly a month. We will
Almost.
be getting together to go to a toy show. Um, because who's going to be there, Cohan?
Oh, oh, the best in the world. My all-time favorite wrestler, and if you watch the show, Tito Santana will be there. And if Tito's going to be there, you know dang well I'm going to be meeting Tito.
And I just want to see him meet Tito because I think that's
Oh,
going to be great fun.
oh, too
Well, let's
excited.
keep this one short and sweet because we've got big piles to deal with, and I think
Yeah.
it's a good way to start the year.
Yep.
So let's do some housekeeping before we sign off, Cohan. Likes and subscribes and all that, please.
Yep. Also, if you are listening to this or watching it, and you do know somebody who may have a connection or those Buffy figures, something along those lines, hey, wouldn't mind a little in the comments, little heads up in the comments would be great. Because I have checked eBay, but it'd be great to look around locally, see if everybody has them.
Excellent. And while you're at it, if you've made it this far, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment about what you're hunting for this year or any toys that you've bought recently, because clearly we like to hear about that sort of thing. And as usual, I've been John.
And I'm Cohan.
And we bought toys today. Who knows what we'll do tomorrow?
Thanks for watching.
Good night, everybody.